I think most of you guys know, I went to school at Arizona State University. After I graduated, I applied to a bunch of jobs. I ended up getting a job interview in LA, went to LA to go do the job, got fired, went to Best Buy, quit for Snapchat, got fired from Snapchat, had a ramen gig in between. So I lived in LA in a studio apartment. I was just let go from Snapchat. Not because I did anything wrong, but because Snapchat is a terribly run corporation and doesn't respect their good employees. And my rent was $1,000 a month, which is like decent, but I lived in the valley. And if you don't know LA, I think a lot of people think this, and I used to think this, LA is not a city. It's not like, oh, fuck yeah, let's go to New York. It's like 100 cities. And you don't know that till you get here. And the valley is like, it might as well be a different fucking planet. It's hotter. It's shittier. There's not shit all there. There's a bunch of good Armenian food though. But when I had no job, what I did was just apply nonstop. What any normal human would do. And I stupidly refused to take unemployment, which was very dumb of me. I was raised in a middle-class household. I had a dope house. I had a couple acres. My mom was a school teacher, but we never had to worry about money. But I very badly wanted independence. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but I just remember all my life wanting to be independent and not feeling like I owed everything in my life to my mother. It was very selfish. And I can say very confidently that even though I was independent, it's only because of everything that I got when I was dependent. All right? Not having to worry about money. My mom got me my first car. Easy public education. That was like in a really good school. Having to go to college, getting to go to college. Shit like that a lot of people can't do are the tools that let me go independent that aren't available to some people. And so I was like chasing independence. So the moment I could move out, I did. The moment I could take one bill away that my mom was covering, I did. And that same mentality was preventing me from just applying for unemployment, which is so dumb. You're not a failure for doing unemployment. It's a system that very heavily forces you to look for a new job. It's not like you're just fucking living off the taxpayer dollar. And let's be honest. I remember applying for 200 jobs in the span of the month, and I still get rejection letters to this day. Disney, can I tell you right now? I don't give a fuck, man. I promise I don't care if I'm in your ESPN department. It's okay. I'm over it. I don't know how you haven't filled the fucking slot. It's been a couple years. Kind of weird, Disney. Kind of weird. But instead of doing that, which would have been the smart thing to do, I went into my savings. And I had a decent savings because I worked at Apple. And Apple, if you guys don't know, is a very good company to work for. They have a stock option program that's insane. You can save up to 10% of your paycheck from Apple and put it towards the stock option program in a 6-month period. And then at the end of the 6 months, Apple will sell you their stock at the lowest point during the 6 months from the money you saved up, 15% less, which is that's crazy. Think about it. So during that 6 months, Apple stock hit $100. I bought it for $85 of the money I'd saved up. When I left Apple, their stock price was closer to 150, 160, 170. AKA I doubled the money I put in. It's insane. And since I put the max amount of money I could, I ended up having 20 to 30 shares of Apple. Nothing insane. I'm not Bezos, but I had a few racks. And so instead of collecting unemployment and using that to pay for rent, I was like, oh, I'll just sell my Apple stock. Of course, this plan ended up only lasting for a few months because eventually even the Apple stock is going to run out. And during this period, I was applying to jobs every day, but I wasn't getting any hits. And it wasn't until May where I really started sweating. I'd been unemployed for a full month. I was late on my rent, which you really shouldn't be. I was actually terrible. I was late on rent. My landlord would come knocking. I would give her checks that would bounce if she had cashed them the day I gave it to her, which is really bad. That's like you're about to get a fucking credit mark for life type of shit. But I was like, I knew I would get the money from my stocks. I just had to wait for them to clear. Don't ever do this, chat. This was very dumb. And so during this time, I'm trying to think, what is the quickest way to earn money? And obviously, my mind went to, oh, I'm a young boy. I got a lot of free time to myself. I've been honing my skills. I got a couple swimmers. How about I try the wonderful world of sperm donation? So I go to their website and I look it up. And I find some website called Cryobank. And I'm reading through. And the things that they make you have if you're a sperm donor is insane. You have to be ages 19 to 38. You have to be over 5'8". You have to be that tall or you can't do it. You have to have graduated or be in college. You gotta be a healthy individual and you have to legally be allowed to work in the US. These are stringent requirements. And I'm like, I mean, I do check all these boxes as long as I'm wearing the correct shoes. Maybe we'll give this a shot. And so I show up to the sperm donation place, ready to drop a couple swimmers, fully prepared to lay down my seed because I found out about the money. And chat, the money's crazy. You guys all jumped to OnlyFans and that shit, but the money you can get for sperm donation is so good. For one cup, just one cup of sperm, you can get $75 to $150, depending on how much you can drop out. You can do it up to 4 times a week, which means hypothetically, if you have some filthy swimmers and you got a big tank, you can be making up to $600, $300 a week, depending on how much. $300 to $600 a week, man. That covers like all my rent and my utilities. You could be making up to $2,400 a month, $30,000 a year for a couple of minutes in a room 4 times a week. That's crazy. I do that already. You're telling me I can get paid? Mm-hmm. And so I'm desperate for rent. I'm reaching into my Apple stocks. I only got like 25. I see the numbers slowly trickling down. 20, 16. I'm like, this shit's not going to last forever, boy. We got to get to working. All the jobs I've applied for haven't reached back. Even if I did hear a job reach back, you have to do the interview process. All right? You have to do orientation, background checks, sometimes drug checks. That alone can take a few weeks, and I don't have that amount of time. I have to pay rent June 1st. And so I go to Cryobank, and I go to try to donate some sperm. And the first time you go, they make you do a giant-ass questionnaire, basically asking the health record of every member of your family. And so I filled it out honestly. I have a pretty healthy family. And no, they didn't care about the chest hole. Thank you for asking. They didn't go, yikes, dude, what is that? Lol, how do you walk around with that? It was fine. It was fine, chat. That's just you guys who find it weird. So I show up, I fill out the paperwork, and they have me do one sample, my first ever sample. And they give me a cup, and the sample is not to be put into a human. It is simply to check for STDs and to make sure that my sperm are chill and that my swimmers are good. So I go in, they give you a cup, it's sealed, and you walk in this room. And in this room, it's like a 20-inch plasma screen, the one with the giant gray borders, a bunch of 1970s porno DVDs, and one of those chairs that doctors have that white paper over it that makes a lot of noise. And it's not like these are soundproof walls. I can hear the people working. It was a young man and a young woman, and I can hear them literally as I'm in the room with the door closed, like flirting and shit at work and like talking and like giggling while I'm there just looking down at my wee-wee sitting on this paper. And the paper makes it's making so much noise when I'm sitting down, and I'm really uncomfortable because I don't like the idea of somebody hearing me jerk off. Luckily, it's the 21st century. I don't need to use their porny mags. And I have my cellular device. And not to get too graphic, but normally, I don't like to take too long doing my business. I'm a pretty quick one. I grew up doing it secretly in the house. You guys know, fellas, can I get an amen? You got to do that shit quick. All right, you spend too long in the bathroom, people start asking questions. You don't want to be doing it while your mom calls for dinner. You get your 2 minutes and you pump it out. Fellas, you should also know that if you do this, you probably will be a premature ejaculator later on in life and should maybe not be so concerned about these things and take your time because it will affect you down the road. This is not speaking from personal experience. I've just read this online in a magazine once online. So I'm there. I hear the voices. I have my phone and I have the cup. And I'm doing my thing, and it is slow. And the longer it takes me, the more self-conscious I get. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, fuck, like they're waiting on me. I'm the only one here. It's not like they got 7 doors and it's all filled. They're just waiting for my dumb ass. So like 5 minutes pass, I'm like, they're probably annoyed I'm taking long. 10 minutes pass, I'm like, fuck, man, like, come on, just nothing's doing it for me. I eventually have to put in headphones and just like blare shit. I'm not even an audio guy. I'm a GIF guy. But I just got to do it so I can't listen to my own thoughts. It takes me 20 minutes. 20 grueling minutes to get the job done. And right when I'm about to do it, this is the hard part that I didn't think about. You got to get it in the cup. Normally, I'm a D to T. I don't know if you gentlemen are D to Ts, but it's the best way to do it. Direct to toilet. Of course, we all know this. One flush and you're done. That's the Peepo Pog way to run it. Why do you do it that way? Because if not, then my mom washed my laundry when I was a kid. That's fucked up. That's weird. I'm not going to put that on my mom. All right? Occasionally you can't control things, but it's not my mom's responsibility. That's weird, champ. Having your mom pick up your cum boxers or trying to sneak them in the wash before she sees. She always finds out. Your mom fucking knows, man. If you're coming in your socks, your mom knows. She thinks it's disgusting. Stop doing it. She knows, I promise you. So I open the cup. I'm trying to aim in it. I'm feeling weird. And the moment it's about to happen, because it wasn't the best sesh I ever had, because there were so many weird barriers, because it took so long, maybe too, it ends up coming out like a cartoon wallet when they got no dollar bills. And just like slowly like molasses its way in. And I'm looking at it. And I missed some. Some got on the side because I thought it would do its normal thing. It ended up not doing its normal thing. I had to like clean it up and like disinfect. And I'm looking at this little cup, and it's got like 2 drop. I mean, it's bad. It is not a lot. It's like a spitful. And I'm like, and I've never been self-conscious about the amount of load because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares usually. I promise you, it's probably the last thing on most women's mind. I wish the load was bigger. Nobody's ever said that. Maybe someone has, but it's probably in a porno. For the most part, it just sits in a condo. But now all of a sudden, I have to go to this like young, attractive secretary at this cryobank and be like, "Here's my cum cup with not a lot of cum." And so I hand it in to her, and I'm ready with all these excuses in my head. Well, hey man, I actually had a sesh this morning. Just the acoustics weren't good. I actually missed the cup. But all she does is she slides me a piece of paper and she goes, "Here, fill this out." And it's a questionnaire. And it has only 2 questions on it. One, how do you rate our collection of exciters, as they would refer to it? And two, did you get it all in the cup? First one, 0 out of 10 stars. That shit's trash, but I got a mobile phone, not too bad. And two, just to boost my own ego a little bit, I was like, 80% missed. I was like Moses in this bitch. I was about to drop the whole C on it. I actually just missed. Truth is, I missed like maybe a drop. Maybe. But I made it seem like that shit would have been full. It would have been like Kool-Aid pouring out the top instead of the Lay's bag of chips that it actually was. Anyway, test results go through. And although it's not used to impregnate women, I get a $50 gift card to a place of my choice. Restaurant. I think I could even do an Amazon one. I was like, nice. That's pretty good. And so the test results come back. STD free. Peepo Pog. And they have to have me come back in and do one more run through, one more practice. This time to test how good my swimmers were. I showed you the requirements already. You have to be a college grad. You have to be tall because people want those, right? That's what the clients are looking for. But the most important part, doesn't matter if you're 5 foot or 6'10". Doesn't matter if you're 6 foot fucking 13. Doesn't matter if you're LeBron James. If your swimmers aren't good, you're not going to get the job done. So you have to be in the top 10% of swimmers. Now, naturally, that's why if you're young, you're probably going to be there. It's not like you have to be the top 10% of your age group. It's more like anyone past the age of 40, they're probably dog shit. I felt pretty confident going in. Do you know why? If you guys have ever seen the TV show, The League, it's a TV show about fantasy football. And in the show, there's a guy in it, and there's a whole bit where he puts his laptop on his dick. And because of it, his swimmers are bad. And ever since I saw that show, to this day, I hate putting my phone near my balls in laptops on my lap because I think it'll ruin my swimmers. Because I want my boys to be swimming good when the time's right. So I literally, this has been going on for maybe 6-7 years, something like that, 5-6 years. I never put any device near my balls. I don't fuck with it. I protect my boys. My boys in blue, we salute them. And the day they have to make their storm to Normandy, so to speak. 5G, I'm monk a W in about 5G. 3 times faster, but my swimmers will be 3 times slower. Cancel 5G. Keep swimmers swimming. Your phone's in your pocket? No, I keep it on my desk, and I usually put it in my back pocket. I'm a back pocket person. I found out halfway through my life that girls put phones in their back pockets, and I was like, I go in for my second sesh. We run through the same rigmarole. This time I felt a little bit comfier. I even sat on the seat. And this time I was smart. I didn't even touch it. I didn't even look at it. I cold shouldered my hog for a week. All right? Wouldn't respond to a text. My hog was like triple texting me. Nope. No Meggies. And I show up and it's like Disneyland's California Adventure. What's that one called? What's it called? What's it called? Tell me, cutie. No. The one with the show at the end. World of Color in this bitch. Splash Mountain Grizzly River Ride. Woo! We are dropping bombs over Baghdad. LA got its first tsunami. Let me put it that way. And I go up to drop my cup and I'm cocky. I even left a little drop on the side tastefully, just to prove there was overflow. I was like, what's up? How's it going? Oh, my bad. So much. What you gonna do? She was impressed too. She was pogging the whole time. She's like, And I get the results back for that. And let me tell you, Phelpsian. Okay? They were quick swimmers. They were giving me calls daily to come back for the real deal. And so I go back in one more time. And this is the last one. I've gotten two $50 gift cards. This time I get a $100 gift card. And all I have to do is fill out my preferences for sperm donation. And the way it works is you basically say a few answers of how you want everything to work. The nitty gritty. Things like, would you like to donate a picture of yourself when you looked like a baby so the families can look at it? If you do, we'll give you $150. Would you like to give pictures of yourself throughout the years? Maybe see how their child would grow up. If you do that, we'll give you $300. I'm listening and I'm thinking to myself, 60% of rent, easy clap. And then they hit you with this one. When the kid turns 18, do you want to let him call you? And up to that point, it's all been about dropping fat swimmers and getting paid. But I never thought about a actual whole ass human coming out of a vagina. I know in theory that's how it works. But I had never put the dots together that it's like, oh yeah, I guess I'm their dad. So I'm staring down at that piece of paper. $200 worth of gift cards in the bag, but nowhere closer to rent. Thinking, what do I want? Do I want to have a bunch of kids I can't raise? What if they grow up and they become something terrible, like a sheik main in Melee? Can I handle that? And so I say my pleasantries. I say something like, yeah, sure they can, and I leave. And I get an email saying, hey, Ludwig, you passed all the tests. You can now donate sperm. But I ignore them. I get an email from these guys every single day for 2 weeks. They emailed me up to 6 months after because they were so desperate for clients. And I never respond. I sell every single one of my Apple stock because I came to the decision in that moment that if a young Ludwig Jr. ever walks this earth, he's going to be raised by me. He's going to be a motherfucker who gets mauled, a motherfucker who gets loud. But even if he turns out worse than another family raising him, I can say he was mine or she. And one day I'm sure I'll have a kid and it will be great content. But I'll have to wait for that moment to come naturally and organically. And so I wasn't able to make the money from sperm donation. So I went with my backup plan at the time. And that kind of worked out. I ended up streaming instead.
Your voice.